we joined this painting already in progress to bring you something that I wasn't sure was going to turn out so great. I'm still a little unsure, but it's another negative space painting. I did a smaller version recently. Here. Boom. And you can see the scale. This is 5 by 7, and this is 18 by 24. And I'm using brown. Yep, you heard it. And this is like, this was my test page, but I've been told this is fascinating to watch even though I'm still testing it. And I'm on layer, I don't even know how many. I've lost count of how many layers I've done so far. I think this is layer 4, maybe it's layer 5. But I'm using 2 colors just because I'm lazy, and they were in my pan already. And that's German greenish raw umber and then just regular raw umber. They were already here, and I thought, well, I'll just use them up, and then I just kept going with it when I needed more paint. So I just have, off camera, I've just got this little enamel pan with this little glop of color here and some water, and then I'm using a really big number 6 Princeton Neptune. And I'm just doing the layers, and it's curling up on me down here. I didn't tape it down. It's oh, this is a Strathmore 400 series. I won't bore you with showing you the label. It's that brown, the brown notebook, and I'm not even sure how good this is going to be for me to try to do when I can't turn it. But you know, I'm going to turn it on and let, what is it Andy Warhol says? Let others decide if it's good or not. Meanwhile, make art. Something like that. Problem is this curling on me, and it's really, I'm on the struggle bus trying to get this. Should have taped it down. That's why, that's why you do test runs, I guess. At least that's why I do test runs. I was trying to see this heart size would be appropriate. This is the stencil I'm using. If this is the right size, I'm also working with the composition, meaning how many hearts per layer. So this has just been a little bit of a work in progress, but this is not a finished piece by any means. I don't even know if I'm going to frame this. I may end up chopping it up and doing other things with it. But I have a big frame in my living room that is in need of some art. And so I thought this would be a fun experiment to see if I could make a negative painting heart in brown. Because my living room is mostly in neutrals. And I just don't want hot pink hearts in the middle of my living room. So all I've been doing is what I did in the previous video. But it feels like a little bit of a hot mess at the moment. But what I've learned and what I say to anybody, that just keep adding layers. And it'll tell you when to stop. It meaning the artwork. I think I want some more raw umber. I think this is mostly just German green. And it's a little green. I also have some raw umber core sitting here too. I'm going to break some of that out. I think I'll do one more layer after this. I'll do one more layer of hearts where this is that, look, this, oh, look at this big puddle over here. Well, it's just the way it goes sometimes, right? I didn't finish this. Well. And then I may go, I don't know, black. I haven't decided what my final layer is going to be. Or I might just add black to the raw umber. Don't know. Kind of winging it, honestly. Shoot from the hip art. And that's why I wasn't going to film this at first. This is very shoot from the hip. The brush, the subject size, the frequency, all of this is still, but I am going for a farmhouse rustic look, which is my aesthetic in my house and my decor. And I like making my own art for my house. Until I don't, and then I chop it up and make it something else. I don't usually work this big. And I'm just off camera here, of course, getting pigment. Because this piece is so big I can barely fit it on camera. I think it would be good taped. But after this is done, paper doesn't have a memory. So I will flatten it back out. Sometimes I iron it. Sometimes I just wet it. And then stack heavy stuff on top. I'm trying not to be too precious with it. And if I go into the heart, that is now a piece of the heart that goes forward. It's part of the irregularity of the piece. And the inner kindergartner that goes, no, it's ruined, is being told to be quiet and sit down. I'm not going full strength with this pigment, but I'm getting pretty darn close to full strength. This brush holds a lot of water, and it comes to a decent point, but it doesn't get to a super tiny point that I would like for some of these little channels that I've now created for myself, but that's okay. This is supposed to be rustic, and I think we've achieved that. In any place where I've gone inside the line before, I repeat it. It's now become an intentional part. Like right here, see where it went in like that? I went over it again. I emphasized it even. Oh, goodness, this thing is a beast. And I love it. I love it. Okay. This is a skinny little section here. Trying to make this darker than this. Trying to really make sure that there's a difference that's showing there. Pull some of this core out and see if that's any richer of a color. Still a raw umber. Try to help make this area a bit darker. I may have to do another wash here before I do the last layer, because this is not reading a whole lot different. Not as different as I would like. I'm going to try over here, and well, because that's so wet right now. I'm going to try over here. I'm going to try a little more full strength. Oh yeah, that might be a little too much full strength there. Oh my. Well, all right, let's see if we can. Oops, I just realized I'm off camera. Sorry. Get to the edges like that. It's really easy to get off camera. Okay, well, I'm going to let this dry down a little bit. I am not sure this is being a dark enough of a difference between this heart and the background. So I'm going to take a small break and let this dry a little bit and come back and see where we are. We may have to go a bit darker. Okay. Well, still not sure I'm happy with this brown, but you know what? We're just going to keep going. We're just going to keep going. It's dried down and all seems fine, but I guess I'll just keep recording. But I forgot where I left off. I think I left off over here. Alright, so let's go back over here a bit and continue on. Ooh, not enough pigment there. And not on screen. That piece this big, 18 by 24, what are you going to do? Except look up once in a while and make sure. Yep. Alright. Here where the paper's curled, I'm just going to basically hold it down. I don't have any other good solutions here. I mean, I do. If I had thought ahead of time, I could get a clamp out. I've got some bowl, what are those things called? The bowl clamps, something, I don't know. But I'm just going to hold it. Then maybe I'll get a clamp after I'm done. And of course, probably not ideal with wet watercolor to clamp, but if I don't, then it's going to pool and create a hard line. Oh, choices, and where? All right, I don't have anything else close by, so we're going to improvise. There. Dollar store clamps. What are you going to do? Use them. Okay. Ooh, that's pigmented. As soon as I get some more of this painted, I'll do a couple more of those clamps just to help hold it down a little bit. Okay. Not bad. Let's see if I can rotate this and still stay on screen and not knock stuff off my desk. That is a tall order. Okay. Just pick up. I've got 3 pigments here, and you know, I think a little diversity is good. They're all brown, and brown though. At the end of the day. And I realize brown isn't going to be many people's cup of tea. I'm a grungy girly, so I love the grunge. I embrace the brown. But most people are not going to find this interesting at all. And that's okay. I'm just bringing you along for my process. Oh, whoopsie. Opa. Okay. I backtracked that pretty quick, so I think we avoided a thing. I feel like I'm just tickling it here with the way I'm using my brush, but some really thin passages here I'm trying to get through. All right, let's see what we got over here. thinned that down too much, I'm afraid, but oh well. Actually, no, it's quite dark. All right, let's do another clamp. Even though we're probably going to have to move it, it's going to just help me in the short term. This is why you tape, I think, so it gives you something to, a margin or something. I feel like I'm tickling it now. All right, let's shift it a little bit. I have light stands and all kinds of things to work around here, so I'm trying to keep this visible. Like so. Way to go. Well, embrace it. Practice what I preach. It's an official watercolor term. This off for a second and lift this up so it doesn't get on paper behind it, hopefully. If it does, it does. And then I'll go back and re-clamp it and hope it doesn't put a dent in my paint, but it probably will, but we'll deal with that later. Alright, water bottle, move. Alright. Problem with not finishing a layer, coming back to it, is that you're not terribly sure where you left off, where you started, especially if it's not the darkness that you wanted when you left. But that's why we do these things, and well, it's just for fun anyway. It's a practice piece for my big one. For my real one. The real one, this is 18 by 24, as I mentioned earlier. The piece I need is 21 by 24, I think, or 20. It's an irregular shape. So I got some arches yesterday that's going to do it. It's, I think, 22, so I've got a little bit of a margin, which will be good. And this may be area I've already covered, but I'm just going to do it again. Just feels like this spot right here hasn't been done around this heart. know that's been done, but the rest of this I don't think has been done. Okay, I'm going to twist this again. Kind of get this area right here. I know I did this area already, but I just feel like the contrast isn't enough. So I'm coming and adding another layer over this spot. And we'll let it dry before we go on, of course, and then that will hopefully give enough of a contrast between the layer I'm painting and then the existing heart that's there. At least that's the goal, is to have a clear delineation between the two layers, between the two colors. I think that'll work now. Still have this little area in here to finish getting this layer on, which I've forgotten now. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this layer 5? I think this is layer 5. And I know I gotta go at least one more, maybe 2. I'll know after I do the next one. Like I said before, you just keep adding layers until you go, okay, I'm done. Then the last layer can either be black or add black to the pigment you're using. And a little black goes a long way. But with brown, I might need more black than normal. And then, and that's your final layer. Make it super saturated. This is like an adult coloring book, really, in a way. Except when I'm done, it'll go on the wall. And when I do my final layer, I'll get out a really detailed brush and go around these edges of these hearts and make sure that there's a real defined line. I'll make the pencil lines go away. If there's any pencil lines remaining, those will go away with that final layer. What I'm looking for now is just any edges around the hearts themselves. Just make sure that, not for perfection in the lines, but for the contrast. Making sure that the contrast is there enough. So that my next layer if I put a heart right behind this one, you'll be able to tell that it's behind, because the pigment differences will be enough. All right, so let's review. I think we need a little more pigment here. I don't normally do this, but this is a test. We're having a little learning curve here. All right, let's do another clamp. This is really bowed up a lot. Let's put that one there. And let's put one down here, even though I might have to move it. Okay, that helps. All right, where was I? Here. Yep. And even this is the same concentration as what was in this my previous layer. Because it's going on top, it just takes it up a shade. See, like this is kind of getting lost in here too, so I need to beef up this intensity here a little bit, I think. There. See, this heart has some really deep pigments here that settled here, and then some washed out areas, and then this heart is really unbalanced in its wash. So it's really begging for some more contrast so that you see it, so that it stands out. But because this piece is so big, this piece of paper is so big, areas are drying out before I can get to them. I'm trying to work in sections, but it's a bit of a challenge. Not unpleasant, but a challenge. Okay. Any other areas kind of sticking out as not standing out from the background? Yeah, a little bit right here. I don't want to fiddle with it too much. But I did notice in the piece I did recently that there wasn't enough contrast in a couple of them, and I thought, I wish I had, taken a moment to... Like this heart right here feels very similar to its background, right? So what I'm going to do is grab some pigment, kind of load it up on the brush pretty good, and then I'm just going to kind of go around the outside and just see if I can load that up a little bit, provide a bit more, maybe a little less water next time. But I don't want to go full strength. See, that's like almost full strength pigment there. That's not what I'm looking for. Just looking for a little bit more like that. Alright, so let's see if we can... Alright, I gotta switch it. It's just too hard to do this. Ugh. And there goes the clamp. Come back. You clampy. Alright, let's see if we can do that again. I'm afraid I got too much water here, so I'm gonna grab some pigment. Yeah, see, that's way too watery. That's better. And then I'm just gonna take my wet brush and just kind of pull that out so that it doesn't have a harsh line. It just feathers it out a little bit. Alright, let's grab a little more pigment here. Part of the reason why I keep moving this around too is there's a glare where the water is sitting on top of the paper. And I'm trying to see what I'm doing, and these bright lights are hitting it. Creates a bit of a challenge. shallot. Okay, I'm not sure that makes it stand out as much as I would have liked, but I think it's a little better. Yeah, I think the next one needs to be the last one. And then go black, or draw more hearts, and then go black with the dye black. All right, I'm gonna dry this real quick. While that's drying, I'm going to be over here looking for my, here we go, lamp black. I'm going to add that to the, I'm getting my stencil ready. This guy, I'm using the big one. Of course, a pencil to draw the hearts. Still a little wet here. I'm getting close. One, two, three, four, five. I think so. I don't know. Some of these is hard to tell. Let's just see where it goes. All right. That's enough of that. Now, let's fill in some spots here. Let's start with maybe this one. And I'm just tracing everywhere there isn't a heart already. I'm not sure if those pencil lines are showing up, but I only trace obviously where, so I can put, so it puts behind it, so it puts it behind it. Let's see, do we want that? Or do we want that? Or do we want, oh, I think I like that. All right, so then we've got a line here. And then there. Not sure if you can see that or not. See? There. Okay. And then, yeah, this is definitely going to be my last layer. And then, let's see. So we got a point going this way, a point going that way. What about a point going south, as it were? Oop, I didn't do the bottom part. I was so busy trying to figure out where that line was going to go. I forgot to do this part. There we go. So we've got there, there, there. What about here? What about a pointy piece here? Ooh. This one's going to be wild. It's going to have so many parts to it. Do I want to do that? Yes, yes I do. Why? Because it's hard. Then I think I need something down here that you can't see. Oops. Conk. I think something here would be appropriate. Appropriate. In fact, I might even tuck it behind. Yep, I'm going to tuck it behind. So I'm going to do there, 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 that's a little weird, but we're going with it. All right, what else? I think this corner over here, I think it'd be ripe for a nice big old piece like this. Or do I want to tuck it? Or do I want it sticking behind? Ooh, okay. All right, what about if we did... All right, Clamp, you gotta go. You can come back. You just gotta go for now. What if I did that? I don't know. This might be more than I think it's going to be worth it. Juice might not be worth the squeeze on this one, but we're... Oop, don't overrun. Don't overrun. Okay. Okay. I'm thinking like one more, but where? I may rethink this one. Okay, I like this. Oopsie. Don't move. You can't even see it. All right. All right, let's see. We got a bit of something here and a bit of something here. And I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. I've been using that big old Neptune beautiful brush. But some of these little... This guy's just a big monster. I mean, he's wonderful, but I'm going to go with something maybe a bit smaller like that guy. What is this? Size 10 from Hobby. All right. Do I want any other ones? I may want... I'm off camera. Okay, let's do that, 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 and that. Oh yeah, I like that. Got one there, got one there, one there, 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 there. I don't like this. I'm going to redo this and there, because this one I don't like down here because you can't see the point and you can't see the hump, right? So you just have no idea. It's just like, what is that? So we're going to put an identifying point, whether it's this point at the top of the heart or this point at the bottom of the heart. There needs to be something visible here. Even if the rest of it is tucked behind, there needs to be something visible like that. That works because it has the hump there and there. So maybe that's what we do there. Okay. Boom and boom. And then boom there. And then one more right there. Now you know what that is. Now that's identifiable. Where before it was just a blob. Okay. So now comes... Oh, I think I want one more up here. Oh, I just set my brush on the floor. one in this corner, one in this corner, nothing in this corner. That's fine. But I kind of feel like I want something in this corner too. But can I make it happen? I don't know. And I really want to avoid this because this is just such a mess. I've got one here, but what if I did, oh, what if I did that? Oh yeah. We think we like this. Why am I talking about myself in the third person? I don't know. Oh, we think we do. Okay. All right, that feels complete. All right, now comes the scary part, adding black. And do I have some tester watercolor paper? I do. We are not going to attack this without a little testy poo, a testy strip. Okay, it is little, I agree. But, alright, bring the palette back on the camera. We have lamp black, which is, I have no idea what's, pigment lamp black. That is the pigment, got it. That's so helpful. Not. We're going to put a little bit up here. Because ultimately I might end up just doing it all black, but I'm going to start like doing a black-brown combo. And see, all right, a little bit of black into this brown. Ooh. Okay, but that's what I want. You see that? It's brown and black kind of at the same time. But the question is, can I, yeah, here we go. Can I control it, right? The smaller brush is going to help. That last brush was getting a little too big. Is that showing up? Yeah, that's showing up on camera. This is exactly what I was looking for, is to really saturate that color and black out everything except for the hearts and all their different layers. And I might end up doing 2 layers to get it as dark as I want it. But we're going to start here and see where it goes. Put this up on a little bit better visual for you here. Okay. Picking up a little bit of water, but not much, and a little bit of black and a little bit of brown. Technically raw umber. All right, let's carry on. Too wet. See that? See how wet that is? There's just not enough pigment there to get excited about. Water here at this point, it should be very minimal. Just enough to get the pigment moving. And that's always the trick. Is the water too much? Is it not enough? And that just comes from practice and doing. I think that's why people find watercolor so challenging, is because it's just, there's no recipe, you know. 2 parts this to 1 part that. No, I don't find that. Now other artists may say, oh yeah, it's this ratio, and it's, but I find it's just a little bit of practice, getting a feel for it. Like riding a bike, you know, you get a feel for how you got to keep your balance on it, or rollerblading or anything like that. It's a very in the moment, just got to do it kind of feel to it. Because I've never added black ever. But I just purchased that tube last week. Because I was always told a true watercolorist doesn't buy black. They make black. And then I decided rules are for other people, not for me. I mean, not when it comes to watercolor, not when it comes to art. The rules are whatever I want them to be. So, okay. Yeah, I feel like this is going to need another layer, this black layer, this final layer. Could be wrong, but because it always dries a little lighter. It just feels like it might want some more contrast. Between this layer and this layer, between this layer and this layer, I might want more contrast. In fact, I might just go ahead and do some right here while I'm here. I'm just looking at it going, I don't think there's enough. It's not dark enough. And yet it scares me to go all black, you know? Well, what's the worst that can happen? I hate it? Oh well. Okay. Cute. Let's go a little darker over here. I'm really liking how this looks right here. So that's what's making me be bold, I guess, and go ahead and come back when it's not even dried down yet. This curled up paper is a bit of a challenge, but okay, that feels better. That does feel better. All right. Let's carry on. Let's pick up some raw umber, touch a little bit of black. And let's go tackle this area, which has been my nemesis for an hour. Neutralize that situation. Ta-da! Yeah. Well, this isn't turning out like I had it in my head, but whatever does. Who knows? I might like it better.
Working on stuff.
You know, I just had a thought. I wonder how Payne's Gray would look mixed in with brown, with this raw umber, I should say, instead of just lamp black. And I wonder if I did it now. I wonder what if. What ifs are good. Might give some more variety to the color. I don't dislike the lamp black, but I'm just wondering about Payne's Gray, and I don't think I have any out. Means I need to grab some. Okay, Payne's Gray, PB29 and PBK9. Let's play with that for a second. Let's add that into our brown and see what's what. All right, so picking up a little Payne's Gray here. Actually, I should have picked up some brown first, but oh well. I just dipped into the water. Let's go over here. Huh. That is definitely more chocolate. I might like that better, honestly. I think I do. All right, let's try it again. Let's get the green raw umber, German green, and a little Payne's Gray, a little water. Let's go over here right next to the black. Let's feather that in a little bit. You're probably on camera going, I see no difference, but I do. Not sure if I like it better or not, but it's always fun to play what if. This is the core burnt raw umber, and now the Payne's Gray. I'm going to do something really wild and just go only Payne's Gray right here. See what it does. Huh. Very interesting. I think I'm going to have to do two of the final layer. Two layers of it, two coats of it, whatever. Because I just don't feel like I'm getting the pigment saturation. I really kind of want a blackout. I think that's what I want. But I'm going to do the whole layer and then decide. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid getting any more water, but the brush is getting a little dry. Ugh, too much. It's like you gotta get a tiptoe into the tulips amount of water. All right, let's see if we can do a hard line here. Yeah, that's definitely a hard line. Maybe too hard. I don't know, maybe I don't want to black it out. Maybe I do want to see some of the other browns peeking through, the other layers peeking through. Time will tell. Okay. All right, pigment box are on the way. Oh, it's pretty good. Oh, wait, I just had a thought. Now, sticks. Oh, no. So I got these recently. There's So several of them. They come from Europe. And the company I was buying them from has stopped carrying them, which I'm not happy about. So this is burnt sienna deep. And I was thinking, oh, I wonder if that would be interesting. This is like an ochre. Yeah, gold ochre. Quin red. French ultramarine deep. It's got to be cad red. Yep, cad red and cad yellow. Yep, cad yellow medium. Anyway, these are ceramic dishes if you can't hear them. And my thought was, hey, I wonder if this is by a company called Aqua Blocks, B-L-O-C-K-X. And anyway, I've been wanting to have an excuse to try these, and this project would have been great for this, but oh well, not right this second. All right, so where was I? Overloading my brush with water, apparently. Let's go pick up some burnt umber, add some black, and see if we can put in a dark background here without muddying up these lines. Well, that looks pitch black right there, doesn't it? I'm going to pull some of that pigment out here in just a second. It's a little too concentrated in that corner, in that little section, and that I just made mess untidy. That is untidy. Putting some brown in here to try to desaturate this black. Didn't think I picked up that much black. And yet here I am with a lot of black. But this dark final layer fixes a multitude of sins, from pencil lines to overruns to whatever. So if you find yourself frustrated by the process, you can be, and even if you're using purple, you're going to use a really deep purple for that last layer, and it will help you fix any of your, if you're inclined, and if you're not, that's fine too. Yeah, just, I feel like this background is so uneven. This back piece is so uneven. Especially back here. I feel like I didn't even do this back here, and I know I did. So I'm going to pick up some Payne's Gray and see if I can darken this up a little bit. Okay, that's a little better. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up so you can see where we are. From a distance, I don't mind this, but as it gets closer, I don't like how you see the brush strokes. I don't like, just a lot about this I don't like. So because this is just a test piece, and because I'm talking about the final layer, overall, I like this. I think I will try to do a better job on my next go round of making my washes a bit more even, so you don't have hearts like this, or this one down here, which you might not be. Here we go, where you have an obvious different in tonal value here between the same, you know, across the same heart. I didn't think it would matter that much, and turns out, yes, it does. So I'm gonna have to, you know, rethink my approach on this for the next iteration. But this is still going to be used. Make no mistake. I'm going to, I'm still going. I love it. I love the idea. I'm not discouraged by it, but I do want to finish. And so what I've done now is I've taken, and so this is from yesterday. This is a German green. This is raw umber, both Daniel Smith. This is lamp black, Payne's gray, and then I put a little core raw umber, and now just now I put down 3 more pigments. I put down sepia from Mission Gold, and then little Winsor Newton raw umber, and then I think this is Van Dyke Brown by Van Gogh. It is. So I'm going to make a little cocktail. And the only reason I tell you all this is because my point is it doesn't matter. I'm just going to put down a cocktail. I'm going to make a really thick, soupy, oh gosh, this is really intimidating. I don't mind telling you. I'm just going to make a cocktail of all of these pigments here with a bit of water. And I have no idea if this is the right thing to do or not. But you know what? It's about, I'm just going to use this big moppy brush to get some water in here. I don't want it too wet because I really want it fairly pigmented. Well, extremely pigmented. But some of this is a bit thick and gloppy, so I got to get some water in here to make it move. And if some of these other ones get in here, lamp black, okay, y'all come on down to the party. Payne's gray, come on in. And I'm just going to start painting with this mixture, and let's just see what we get. Wow, ton of pigment on this brush. Let me see if I can offload a little bit of that before I get started. Just feel like I'm not going to have any control, much less a point on this brush with this much pigment in it. I feel like it's still too brown though. I feel like I still want a bit more black in this. I'm going to activate the Payne's gray and the lamp black here a little bit more. This brush is cooked. I may have to do a different number 10 out. I have several of these guys, so have no fear. I wonder if this guy would work. I mean, I know he'll work. Oh, here, what's this? This is a 16. It might be a little big, but just wet that brush up a little bit and get it ready to go. Because that 10 I've just kind of crapped up with a whole bunch of pigment. I mean, it's something. I'll get it out. It's just, I don't want to spend the time to get it out right now. Boy, this brush is stiff. This might be a new brush. It feels like it's still got the sizing in it. Alright, let's just tackle some of this and see where we are. Ooh, this brush might be too big. I kind of like the granulation of the other stuff, but I don't like how it was going on. And that's all me. It's how I'm putting it on, you know, or not putting it on. That is highly pigmented, people. But that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, this brush is separating because I didn't get all the sizing out. That's what you get for Russian. Tell people all the time there's no mistakes in art, just opportunities to figure out a new way to do something that you didn't know about before. That's kind of where we are now. It's problem solving. thought maybe before I wanted to have some of the previous layer kind of shine through, but I think for this piece, for this situation, I don't. Based on the characteristics and the variables that I found myself in now, nope. I think if I put some more hearts down on my early layers, I don't think I would have had to go 6 layers, and 5 layers would have been enough, and I wouldn't have had to go to this extreme. But you know, you just deal with the cards you're dealt here at this point. Just go with it. It is what it is. Don't throw a fit. You get what you get. This brush is dried out in spots because that sizing isn't out. I may have to go clean it out and get all the sizing out. I thought it was just, it was going to respond a little faster than this, but it's not. Okay, we are going to clean this thing good, hopefully. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, so now this is how you know before you start dipping it in your pigment. If you can move it into a point and then mush it and get it out of a point and get it back into a point, then all the sizing's gone. Sizing's what to put in it to ship it or finish the process to make it come to a really nice point and stay that way until you use it. It's like a starch. It's like starching your shirts. And oh, I did not just do that. Yes, I did. Frustrations abound. With myself. Frustrations with myself, not with the paint. The paint's only doing, and the paper's only doing exactly what I've asked of it. Just to be wet and to be pigmented. It might look black on screen, but it's really like a super dark chocolatey brown. Okay. Well, I think that's got to just do more to see if I'm going to like it. I mean, overall, I think I'm going to. Of course, it's easy to say that when you've only done this much of it. I'm standing. Let me see if I can sit a little. And get a little, keep my control and not put my hand in it. Curled up paper is providing a bit of a challenge here, so I'm going really slow to try to keep that to a minimum. I'm afraid this is going to be super tacky when it's done because this pigment is so thick. That's one of the not dangerous, but that's one of the things you run into is the pigment is sitting so heavy on top of the paper that it becomes tacky. It stays tacky. It never really cures. Maybe it does cure over time, but it doesn't cure like watercolor would normally dry. It takes much longer. Sorry if I was off screen there. I was trying to... Okay, yeah, I like it. It's a chocolate brown. Lift it up a little bit and see if you can see that a little better. And the coverage is obviously much more saturated than that, which I do not like that at all. So I'm going to carry on. Go around this heart here that's over here in the corner. See if we can get her all filled in and still manage to stay on screen. Move things out of the way. More water. Come over here. Yep, that was something going on the floor. Oh, well. I am picking up a little bit of water. I'm just barely tipping the edge of my dirty water here because I had to clean the brush. I'm barely dipping just the tippy tip of that brush into the pigment just to kind of help move it. It's still really thick on my tray. But the reason I switched out from this brush to this brush is, see, this brush lost its point because there's so much pigment in it. See that, how fat that is on the end compared to how teeny tiny that is, and that teeny tiny little edge. So what I'm doing now is unloading this brush with getting the pigment off of it so that it can go back to its regular shape. And I will. I'll continue to unload that brush, but this teeny tiny tip is necessary for me to get a nice line around these hearts, because this layer is the layer where you do the cleanup. Previous layers, I haven't worried about it too much. I haven't fussed with it. But if you're going to fuss with it, this is the layer to do it, in my mind. But if it's dry, because there's too much pigment or just not enough water in general, it won't glide along that paper like I want it to. See how that glides? That's the water. The pigment is thick and viscous. And the key to a nice line is fluidity. Okay. All right, a little water, a lot of pigment. Boom. Yeah, of course you did. And here, where I have some uneven and jaggedy edges, Just gonna clean that up. And I don't want to lose the homemade quality of this, or the handmade quality, I should say, of this at all. But I would like to tidy a little bit here and there. I think it shows care and detail and attention to detail, and so I want to leave some of that. Well, some of it's inevitable. You just can't clean it all up. Because like that, where it went in, you might not be able to see it, but there's a little blurb there. I'm not going to go totally change the shape of this heart to accommodate that blurb. In other cases, I am. I have some other ones over there. I've already started modifying the shape of the heart to accommodate a blurb. That's an official term. Okay, I may have painted myself into a literal corner here. Let's adjust. I want to go here and finish this little piece, but I really can't because I'll be putting my hand in wet paint. So we're going to turn the paper, go somewhere else for a spell. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Pulling, which is what I just did there, is easier than pushing, which is what I'm about to do here. This is a bit of a push and a pull, though. But you can always go back and just get a running start on it again if you're trying to be precious. Which, in that moment, I was. And then once you have that line established, then you can be a little less precious in here. Move your hand back up on the shank of the brush. Can't be careless, but you can be a little more free with your movements here, a little less precise. All right, now it's time to be a bit more precise, so I took back up on the brush again, get a little more water. Pull a little more pigment out of this brush so I can rescue it from drowning. And now I'm going to go here. And if I stay like this, I'm going to, some of this brush is going to get into that heart, so I got to turn it this way, which means I got a little bit of a blind spot here. But if you go slow, good. Just do what seems right. Follow the lines that make sense to you. It's not about perfectionism. It's just about making your eye happy, because your eye will look at it and go, no, I want it to go there. Listen to your gut. Working in 18 by 24 is a space challenge for sure. Especially when you're trying to stay on camera. Wow, that's reading black on camera, isn't it? Oh well. It's not. And I'll take some pictures of it when I'm done. The thumbnail, and you can see the brown, hopefully. this rate, I might be done by next fall. Just kidding. Kind of. I think the next one, I don't want this last wash to be as dark as it is, but who knows, maybe by the time I'm done, it'll be my favorite, and I'll do the next one this way too, so I will reserve making that observation just yet, even though I just said it. I take it back. Take it back. Yeah. Okay, it's about to get awkward again. Awkward angle, I mean. So I get some more pigment off this brush. Clop. 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 Cloppy clop. Clop. And of course you do. Boom. Well, didn't really want to come over here necessarily, but here we are. Based on how thick this paint is going on and other factors like the size of this piece, I may have to, I'm painting in some spots that look kind of watery over here when I turned it. I may end up having to take some breaks on, stop and look that there's some drying happening before I can, I don't know, we'll just have to see. I'm excited to see the finished product now with this super dark brown. Wondering how that's going to look. Impatient might be the better word. I prefer the more fluid strokes than these little short little guys I'm doing here, but I'm going to try to get back to that because I think that gives a better finish, better look. Put this brush, Stay in your lane. The brush is not got a lot of water in it, so it's not letting me do a lot of that as much as I would like. So I'm going to try a bit more water. Let's see if we can get a bit more fluid of a stroke here. That was nice. Let's see this. Struggle is real. Okay, that was nicer. I did a little bit of water, a globule of paint, and then a teeny tiny, ooh, that's probably too much water. Yep, I think it was. I think I diluted it. Yep. Alright, more pigment. For everybody wondering, that's my son in the background. He's off today. And he's gaming with his friends. He goes to school full-time. He works full-time. And so he plays pretty hard on his days off. They have a good time. And I love the sound of my children's laughter. Always have, always will. We're nearing the home stretch here. Overall, I'm pretty pleased. I felt like this a couple times was touch and go. But this the super dark chocolate, which is a big mutt mix of several brands and several colors, and a little black and a little Payne's gray and a whole lot of pigment. I think I finally gotten it where I want it for this time around. I think when I do it again, I'll make some adjustmts, but I'm glad I did it on this Strathmore 400 series. Oops. Before I pull out the really good arches. Is it arches or arches? I don't know. And if you're still here, bless you. This has been a particularly long marathon. But when you're dealing with 18 by 24, it's just not going to be quick when you're doing 6 layers. I think that's the right count. And I didn't even record all of it. I started you like on layer 4. I really wasn't going to record this at all. But then I did. So as we put the last few strokes, and I may come back and touch up a few areas that are a little on the thin side. But I've been so careful not to put my hand in it anymore after that time a bit ago. So I'm just trying to, see where it might need a little more. Like here, this is right off screen. I can't even see it, but let's see if I can twist it. Like right here, see how it's kind of pale here. It dried down really a lot lighter than I was expecting. So I'll probably come through later today or tomorrow and just hit some of these areas that are particularly paler than the rest of the group, rest of the page. And try to get the rest of the pigment out of this big honkin' pigment loaded brush. And get this guy complete. And once that's done, I'll the thumbnail will have the finished product, which I'm eager to see what this looks like when it's all dried down. And then ultimately I'll frame it. I do the framing myself usually. And have it up in time for Valentine's. Then my goal is to do some other more seasonal motifs with a brown emphasis. I'm trying to get this whole thing on the camera, and that is almost impossible with this size. So thanks for joining on this little epic journey of brown and hearts. It's been a bit of a process, but I've enjoyed it because I enjoy brown. I enjoy things that are rustic and country looking and farmhouse, whatever. And I enjoy watercolor, and so this has been a fun little exercise. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.